What is going on, everyone, and welcome in to another episode of Expected Bets for your go-to podcast for all things hockey betting. I am Gator Betting, joined by one of my co-hosts today, Franco the Banker. Gretzky Betskis is out. He has some stuff to wrap up. So, Franco, it's just me and you today, but how are we doing?
I'm doing good. It's Scott Lawton Day today, so I'm ready to celebrate again. We had a fun time a week ago with this, so we'll see if he can replicate his success against Detroit tonight.
Yeah, what did you hit on Scott Lawton Day? I know last week the Flyers and Red Wings squared off against, and Scott Lawton scored all 4 goals for the Flyers in an absurd fashion, and you called it. So what bets did you have on that?
So I had his goal straight at plus 550. Took that for a half unit, which normally a plus 500 goal scorer I usually do a quarter. So I went a little heavier on that, knowing he was 2 goals away from 100, and given the history he had against them as well. And then I sprinkled his 2 goals. He was sitting at 98 coming into that game. So that was a plus 6,500 winner. So that was a nice one. Felt good.
That's not a bad bet.
Yeah.
It's not a bad bet. All right. I mean, let's just get into that game for tonight. So we have Philly taking on Detroit. Detroit's minus 112, Philly minus 108 on the money line. Total is set at 6, minus 112 to the under. We talked about it beforehand. You just mentioned it. Scott Lawton has an absurd history against this team. They did meet again, as we mentioned, December 12th, where Philly won 4-1. Philly has lost, 4 of their last 6, coming off a loss to Minnesota 2 nights ago. Detroit has won 2 of their last 3. One of those, their only loss was to Philly. They beat the Sabres. Shocker. Who hasn't at this rate? Just an absolute joke of a franchise. But coming off a nice win against Toronto where they won 4-2. So I'll start with you. I think you're going back to Scott Lawton tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think I personally have to. I'm not going to be as heavily invested as I was the last time. Like I said, last time I went a half unit on his single goal at plus 550. Now it's down to 500, which is still a good price. But I'm probably not going to go for a full half unit there. I might go like a 0.3, 0.4 type of thing, so a little less, just because he doesn't have that extra incentive to reach a goal milestone. It's just his typical hate towards them. So, but I will be on it tonight for sure. The rest of the pieces I kind of like in this game are more like parlay pieces when it really comes down to it. Okay. Konechny point looks fantastic. I know it's not bettable straight. It's minus 190. But yeah, I mean, he's just been on a tear for them right now. It's crazy because like you look at his line mates, like Couturier hasn't really been super productive. Farabee hasn't been super productive. So typically, you would do like a Couturier and Konechny point parlay, or a Farabee and Konechny point parlay. But I don't even want to do that because those guys are so up and down. So you can't really pair him with somebody on his own team to get the point. You could go as assist prop. That's not too bad. But what I think I might do, and I did this last game, it didn't hit because Raymond did not produce, but I like Konechny and Raymond to get a point together, and that should be plus money. So I'll go back to that. And Raymond's that other kind of juiced piece that looks really good, given his history against Philly. And I think his home and away splits are better, unless I'm mistaken. Hold on, let me pull that up real quick. But yeah, I just think it's a good situation for them both. Yeah, he's better at home, hitting at 90% over his last 10. And Konechny's not bad on the road either. So it kind of works out. I think putting them together as a 2-legger looks pretty good. And then the last one I have is Michkov. I don't mind taking his point, but I looked at his away numbers, and
for
in
shots.
his last for point. Okay. I don't mind his shot. I know you're probably gonna be on that one.
Yeah, I'll go into that one then.
But his last 5 games, or his last 4 games really on the road, he has 2, 2, 2, and 0 points. So he's gotten to 2 points 3 of his last 4 games on the road. And that's against, once against Boston, once against St. Louis, who aren't like the most they're relatively stingy. They don't give up a ton of goals. Columbus is another story. That's the other one. But Yeah, I don't think Detroit's that great defensively. He did
playing.
not get a point last game against them. Obviously, that was the Lawton show, like we said. But
Yep.
I think Philly's scoring should be a little bit more spread out this game. And I don't mind taking a shot at his 2 points, given that road record for him.
Yeah, I looked at his shots tonight. You're getting plus 130. So Detroit ranks 6th against forwards tonight, giving up the most shots on goal. And then they're 28th overall in shots against per game. He's hit in each of his last 4. And it's not like, I mean, a few of these games he was pretty accurate with his shooting. But looking at these numbers, he had 6 shots attempts on 4 shots on goal against Minnesota. And then against Detroit, the game before that, he had 3 shots on goal on 4 attempts. Against Columbus, 3 and 4, and then against Utah, he had 3 and 9. He's also been better away this season. Just like his points, his shots are much better on the road. He's hitting at a 53.8%, covering in 7 of 13 games on the road, compared to just 4 of 16 at home for 25%. I don't get it. We talk about these home and away splits. Some guys just clearly kind of have that, I guess, extra motivation being on the road, or some guys just love playing at home. And he, like I said before, he hit against Detroit earlier this season. So you're getting that at plus 130 tonight. I get he's not exactly on this first line, but the numbers look pretty good for plus 130 against Detroit, who's been extremely leaky against shots overall and against forwards. So that's my only play in this one. I don't mind the plus 130 at all for him.
I like that. I like it.
Yep.
And that plays into that 2 points prop too. So he's been more productive scoring on the road as well. So kind of all factors together.
We talked about this system too, of kind of taking a team A, if they win the first matchup and the games aren't that far apart. These teams played a week ago, if that. Philly won 4-1. Detroit's minus 115 at home tonight. They have their splits are even, actually, for the home and away. And then on the road, Philly's 7-5-3 compared to 7-8-1 at home. Any interest in that Detroit money line tonight, or are you kind of staying away and just going with Michkov point and you say Konechny assist or point?
I think I'm going to roll with Konechny and Raymond point parlay together.
Okay, I like that.
But my only problem if I was going to back Detroit is Alex Lyon. I know he's been out for a little while. I'm not really interested in backing a goalie coming off of injury. Ursan hasn't looked particularly great since coming back from injury either, but he's at least has a few games under his belt at this point. So I can't trust Detroit. I know Philly hasn't been great either recently, but this Detroit team, I think, before that Sabres game, we were kind of looking at Lalonde getting fired and that team being in shambles. Now they've gotten a win or two under their belts, and I'm not ready to believe in them now. So, no interest on the side. If anything, I'd probably lean Philly just because of that previous success against them.
Yeah, you did mention Lyon coming back. He's missed 9 games due to a lower body injury, so not exactly kind of what you want to see when you're looking at Detroit money line tonight.
No, and Lyon's actually a former Flyer, believe it or not. I don't know if you remember that, but he was a guy they had signed. He never was given really a fair shake in Philly, so maybe he's got a little extra motivation, but I don't know if this is, again, the game to back him either.
Yeah. Any other plays in this one for tonight?
Nope. Let's move on.
Nope. All right, let's do it. Next game up, we have Toronto at Dallas. Toronto plus 114 on the money line. Dallas minus 135. Total is set at 5.5. Juice the over at minus 125. The Leafs are 8-2 in their last 10 games against the Stars. Stolarz is out 4 to 6 weeks, so Joseph Woll will be the Leafs' number 1 goaltender for the next few months. It looks like Toronto has been brutal on the road this season, 5-6-2 compared to 14-4-0 at home. Dallas has also been brutal on the road this season, going 6-8-0, but they are 13-3-0 at home. Interesting splits for these teams. Franco, you want to start us off with your plays in this one?
Yeah, those splits kind of worry me a little bit if I'm looking at Toronto props, which is really kind of what I had circled in this game. The main one I was looking at was Marner and Matthews together to each get a point. That's minus 110. Look, I get Andrew's been great at home too, especially. Dallas just not a team that gives up a ton of goals, so not the best of targets, but given just their recent form for both of them, they're really starting to heat up. And then the head-to-head history as well just looks fantastic. Matthews, 5 of 5 with points against them, including a couple multi-point games. Marner as well, I believe, 5 of 6 against them with 1 multi-point game. And just in general, both of them have been just heating up. And I thought it was very interesting as well that they moved Nylander to the top line with them. They bumped Nyes down, it looks like. So that line just looks even more potent than it normally does. Nylander is another guy that has a really good history against Dallas as well. So you could even go all three if you want to get real saucy. But I just think getting the Marner and Matthews, you're getting a discount because of the matchup. You can even do like a Marner assist, I believe, is bettable straight, I think. Given this matchup, yeah, it's like minus 135. I don't mind that either if you want to go straight as opposed to doing that parlay. But I think getting Marner and Matthews just to get a point each at minus 110 feels really good. My one silly play from this game, I haven't looked at what the odds are on this one, but we do have the Robertson brothers going against each other here tonight. So, I mean, you can bet, Jason Robertson straight or Nick Robertson straight to record a goal, but I've done it before. It hasn't come through. Actually, the one time Nick Robertson scored and Jason didn't. So I'm hoping tonight's the night. So I'm going to parlay them together, each to score a goal. I'll give you the odds in a minute when I figure it out, but I'm assuming that should be pretty silly. So I like that a lot.
So you got a Robertson Brothers point parlay, and then Marner and
you can't do Nick. You can't do Nick for a point. So I'm going just for goals each.
Okay,
that's what I was saying. This will be it's a long shot, obviously, right? But
and then what was your other one?
Marner and Matthews point parlay at minus 110.
Okay, points. I'm just gonna parlay. All right, I like it. The one play I had was Jamie Benn for a point. Even money tonight. He's hitting 7 of his last 10. He's on a 4-game point streak right now. There was some concern with him being on that third line, but he's been there for a while now, and that third line has really been clicking as of late. He is on the first power play unit, but shockingly, only I think like 30% of those points have come on the power play. So I don't mind him tonight. You're getting even money. He's also been incredible at home. So he's hitting 13 of his last 16 games at home this season for an 81.3% hit rate. On the road, he's only hitting 5 of his last 14. So again, another guy with those huge home and away splits, just like we talked about with Michkov the game before. You're getting him at even money tonight. And you look at Joseph Woll. Woll has been pretty decent this year. But you look at his home and away splits again, like we talked about it before. Woll has gone over 3 goals against in each of his games on the road this season. I know there's a bet out there for over 2.5 goals against tonight. I don't hate it. Dallas's offense hasn't been as potent as they started the season. They've kind of fallen off a bit again, but he's covered this in each of his last 5 games this season. So I don't mind it. Yep. Adams on Ben power play point tonight. I like that as well. His regular points at even money. So
that's a nice value. That's a nice value because he's that guy that gets bumped up to that top power play. Like you say, he's normally on the third line. So that's really where you're getting the value on him in general because you're getting power play minutes on top of his production coming off the power play as well.
Yeah. Russ, if you go to any more games, let us know. That was a nice same game parlay we hit last week with the Sanderson shots and Ottawa money line. All right. Any other looks in this one? I don't have a ton, just Ben point. I don't mind that Ben power play point at plus 330. That's a great call, Adam, but that's all I had.
That's a good value. So I looked up the Robertson squared parlay. It's coming in at plus 2393. So again, long shot. It's not don't bet the bank on this, guys, but it should be fun to have that riding, especially if one of them scores early.
No, I don't hate that at all. All right, next game up here, we have Florida at Minnesota. This should be a great game. Minnesota plus 124. They're the home dog tonight. Florida minus 148. Total is set at 5.5. Juice the under at minus 115. As always, all of our odds are on DraftKings. You can use promo code THPN for $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 using promo code THPN. Franco, start us off in this one.
All right, so the main one I had circled here is Zuccarello Point. I believe you're on this one as well, so I won't go too heavy on it, but it's pretty straightforward. He's back, he's healthy, on the top line, on the top power play with Kaprizov. I don't know. I never expect to see it at these odds at minus 128, minus 130 area. It's just you have to take it when you see it at this number. So I feel like that's pretty free. I'm going to not go full on that though, because I'm going to go with that and then sprinkle on Kaprizov goal and Zuccarello Point parlayed. That's plus 220. I don't love betting goal scorer props. They're like plus 110, plus 120. I feel like you need to bet a higher units. I like betting lower units on goal scorer props because there's just so much high variance with it, right? You bet Kaprizov and you see it's Jordan Greenway. It's not even there anymore, but guys on like the third line scoring Johansson or something like that, right?
Yeah,
it's frustrating as hell, right? When you see them knock in 2 or 3 goals and then you're like, okay, Kaprizov has to have scored, and it's Marcus Foligno that scored. Great. Awesome. So with that being said, I like to try to get a little more value on a guy like Kaprizov for a goal. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. Given that I really like the Zuccarello Point, I'm going to do a Kaprizov goal and Zuccarello Point at plus 220. I feel like that's a really good value.
Yeah, I don't hate this play either. Kaprizov and Robertson anytime goal scorer, that's plus 710. That's some insane value that you're getting in both of those guys.
Yep.
We'll get to Connor Garland in a second. Yeah.
I hit a couple of those last night. So I did it with Kempe because Kempe was like plus 190, plus 200. So I just stapled Kopitar to him and it was plus like 400 or something like that, plus 300, right? It just you're getting so much more value if you can nail it. Obviously, it's not going to happen every single time. It could be somebody else getting that point, but there's a lot of correlation involved when you do that.
Yep. In addition to Zuccarello Point, I did have a shots on goal play in this one. So Jared Spurgeon, 2+ shots on goal. He's hit in 8 of his last 10. He's hit in each of his last 2 matchups against Florida. Florida's great against shots on goal. Like, no argument there. But their one weakness is to defensemen. They give up the 5th most shots on goal to defensemen this season. So he's been great. He's hit in 8 of his last 10, 2 of his last 2 against Florida. And you look at his home and away splits at home this season, he's hitting 71.4% of his games. It's 10 of 14. On the road, he's only hitting 54.5% of those games. And you're getting that Jared Spurgeon 2+ shots on goal at minus 130 tonight. So that's where I'm probably going as well, in addition to Zuccarello Point.
Yeah, I'm actually on that one as well. I let you have it though.
Oh, thank you so much. I forgot I shared my sheet before the show started. Yeah. I was like, how does he know I'm on all these plays?
I kind of looked through it. I don't know everything, but yeah, I had Spurgeon's circled as well. Great value. I've been waiting for him to get back home. I didn't love the couple of matchups he had at first. I don't believe Edmonton was a super good target against defensemen. Same for Philly. So I kind of waited a little bit to finally get back on him, but those home road splits are pretty insane for him. So I'm excited to hop on him tonight.
Yeah, and even those 2 games against LA and Edmonton, even Vegas too, who aren't necessarily shots on goal targets, he did hit in those matchups. So I think that even bodes more well for us tonight. And you're getting that at minus 130 for 2 shots on goal. So I think there's some value. Any other thoughts on this one before I move along?
I like Adam's comment here. He says, surprised most of the games are 5.5. I tend to agree with you. I feel like there's going to be some overs, but It feels like at least one night a week, maybe even 2 nights a week, there's these heavy under game nights, and that kind of worries me a little bit with all these numbers being so low. It's very tempting to take some overs here. So I'm going to be treading a little bit lighter than maybe I should, but we'll see what happens.
I also did want to point out I had some notes there. So Bennett is out with an illness. Barkov could play. He missed the last 2 games with an illness. If Bennett and Barkov both have illnesses, it seems like there's a bug going around this Florida locker room. Like, there's no way those 2 guys are just isolated in this. So you have to have some sort of feeling that the team is just not at 100% tonight. Bobrovsky, like Adam mentioned, has been bad as of late. Gustafsson remains out, so it's either going to be Fleury or Wallstead tonight. Fleury's been good. I'm not sure about Wallstead, but it seems like there could be some scoring in this one. 5.5 seems awfully low in this one.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, losing Barkov is huge for their defense. So if he's out, that's
Fleury confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Fleury, I think, is only allowed 1 goal, or he's averaged 1 goal against in each of his last 2 games. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. Any other thoughts? I mean, Minnesota beat Florida 5-1 back in October, so maybe it's a Florida revenge spot. Florida's been better away this season. Minnesota worse at home.
Yeah, that's the only pause I mean, I feel like I want to ride Minnesota here, just given the uncertainties with Florida, especially with no Barkov and, like you said, the sick thing. But I feel like when that news comes out, you want to back that team, and then they end up losing, or the team that's sick ends up winning. I feel like it's happened multiple times where you're like, oh, like I feel like I have an insider information. Obviously, all the guys are going to be sick, right?
You know which game that was?
I don't know. It's happening.
That was Pittsburgh, San Jose earlier this year. I think the Penguins tweeted out something like team's questionable for tonight, like the entire team with an illness. And I think the Penguins won an OT or a shootout. Yep. There it is.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's happened to me a few. It's happened to me a few times. I've done it. I know Vancouver was one too, that there was an illness going around, and I was like, oh, I'm going to fade them, and of course they play a perfect game, right?
Yeah, you think you have some sort of inside information when the official account tweets it, and then you kind of realize how low in the totem pole you actually are.
Yeah, we're just suckers. We're just suckers right here.
Bigs. All right, next game up, we got Vancouver at Utah. Utah minus 118, Vancouver minus 102. Bush Betsky was here to kind of give us some insider information into the Utah Hockey Club, but looking at kind of their home and away splits, Vancouver 10-2-1 on the road this season, 6-7-4 at home. Utah 4-5-3 at home, 10-6-2 on the road. So Vancouver much better on the road. Utah much better on the road, which doesn't bode well for them tonight. Vancouver has been an interesting this team this year. They're the dogs tonight at minus 102. Total set at 5.5. Juice the over at minus 122. Any thoughts on this one? It's going to be Demko and Vejmelka.
I kind of lean Vancouver here.
I do too.
I kind of wish they lost that. I wish they lost that last game, but yeah, they are just a different team on the road, and it's crazy because, like, you know, you go to props.cash, for example, and you start to pull up the hot players or whatever, right? Their last 5, their last 10, and like none of the Vancouver players pop because they've been at home for however many games. So you see them at like 40% hit rate, 20% hit rate. Yeah. You're like, oh, Pettersson stinks right now, but then you filter by away, and you're like, oh no, he's good. He's hitting 70% away. DeBrusk is like ridiculous. His home, he's hit in 4 of his last 10, right? But then you go to away, it's 80%, including a 3 and 4 point game. Yep. And then you go to his goals. I think he's 80% on away goal scoring, which is ridiculous.
It's insane. Like, the only issue with like shots on goal tonight is, so there's obviously a guy that jumps out, Hughes. Utah gives up the 11th most shots on goal to defensemen, but besides that, they've been pretty stingy against forwards. Vancouver, on the other hand, does allow some shots to forwards, but has been pretty stingy against defensemen. any props for you? I think Connor Garland's going to be the obvious one tonight. Betsky tweeted out earlier, kind of going in to that story. So I'm guessing he's on your card.
Yeah, I've Connor Garland's always been a player I've liked. I liked him when he was on the Yotes. And then he was one of those guys that was effective when they were kind of bad, right? And then
Yep.
they threw him in the that was the OEL, that was the OEL trade, right? So yeah, he was part of that, I believe. And anyway, so with that all being said, yeah, you have to go back to him. He's had a great history against Arizona, since he's left that team. He obviously has, an extra a bone to pick, so to speak, for how it went down there. So his point props at -130. Again, look at his home and away; it's like night and day.
Insane. He's got a point in 10 of his llast 11 games on the road.
Yes, yeah. So it's insane, and you look at his home; it's he hasn't gotten one. He has one in his last 5. So it's wild. So I like that a lot. -130 feels like value. I'm going to take his goal as well at +280, and his 2.5 shots on goal as well. All these have come in except the shots on goal. He had 2 his last game against that was still Arizona at that point last year. So give me all the props on him for sure. I think there's a ton of value. You're getting +100 for his 2.5 shots on goal. And in general, in these revenge angle narratives, I like to kind of spread out my risk a little bit here. So not go all in on points and goals, because there could be that type of game where he has like 6 shots on goal and just can't find the back of the net for whatever reason. So really like being able to get his 2.5 shots on goal at plus money as well. I feel like that's just a bonus.
Yep. That's not a bad angle. Garland to lead the game in shots on goal at FanDuel is +700.
Yeah, especially given how bad the Utah players have been at home with shots on goal. Because, guys like Cooley have been good and Gunther have been good, but you look at their home road splits again, it's just like it's like they fall off a cliff. Where do they go?
Would you almost sprinkle Jake DeBrusk too as well? I know he's been much better on the road with his shots. He had 6. These are all games on the road. He had 6 against Minnesota, 4 against Detroit. And he's covered in 6 of his last 7. So maybe DeBrusk isn't a bad look either there. I'm on Garland.
I only have interest in Vancouver props, really. I don't know why. All the Utah
Betsky
players
leaves for one show, and we're just not on any Utah props. Yeah. So yeah, Gunther Point is another one that pops for the Utah side. He has a point in each of his last 5 games. I think during that span, he has 8 points in his last 5 games. He had 4 against Vancouver the last time they played. I haven't looked at his home and away splits.
Yeah,
so at home this season,
look at it.
At home, he's hitting 6 of 12. On the road, he's hitting 13 of 18. And unfortunately, they are at home tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's night and day. Like Logan Cooley looks great too, but you filter home and away. I don't want to be completely out on it. Like if you do like a play, if you got anybody watching this, you like Cooley, you like Gunther, like go for it, but just be wary a little bit on these home road splits. Now if a guy's been hot, like maybe they just carry it over and they stay hot, but it just is a little bit worrisome.
Yeah, Adam made a good point too about Quinn Hughes. He has an 86% hit rate in power play points against Arizona. 2 points and +250. So Quinn Hughes has hit in each of his last 5 games on the road. Overall, he has a point in 8 of his last 10 games. Not bad. I haven't checked out what his point is.
Power play point is 60% on the road. It's again, this is crazy. And 4 of his last 5, including multi-point ones too. So yeah, I don't mind that. You're getting better value on that. I don't mind. He's another piece that you just staple him to whatever you like. If you like Lawton in that earlier game, or Raymond in that earlier game, or Marner point or something like that, throwing him
same game parlay. You have You have Pedersen, who's also not a bad look tonight. You have Garland, DeBrusque, and then Hughes right there. Those are some great targets that you have.
Yeah, I don't mind that 3 points as well. Yeah, I mean, look at it. If you just go to 2 points, it's crazy. 86%, or what is it? 60% hit rate on the road last 10. And 3 points. He's hit 3 of his last 10. So not bad for a plus 850. He's got some work to do, so he can win that Norris Trophy for me again this year.
I was gonna say, I was thinking there's some value on his assist tonight, but that's at minus 150. So
it's almost there. It's almost there.
Yeah, at that point, just take his 2 points at plus 230, plus 250 range. So we're on Garland.
You could go DeBrusque goal and Hughes point. I'll check out and see what that is. That's gotta be pretty good if you want like a little more value.
Yeah, what is DeBrusque point tonight? Minus 120.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, you could go Hughes point and DeBrusque point even if you wanted to.
Yeah, staple Hughes with Garland or DeBrusque.
So you can get 284 for DeBrusque goal and Hughes point. I like that as well.
DeBrusque
like I said,
point,
that
Hughes point. Yeah, so DeBrusque and Hughes each have a point is plus 136. You add Garland in there too, and that's plus 254 for DeBrusque, Hughes, and Garland to all have a point.
Yeah, I mean, this is a night if we were going to build a parlay, I would be on way more point props than shot props. Than like we've typically been doing those over 1.5s. This is a night I would be more interested in using point props for a 3 or 4 legger.
Yeah, add DeBrusque point to the card. There we go. All right, any other looks in this one?
No, I mean, I lean the over. I think that, as far as a side or total.
Yeah.
If
we're taking point props.
We're taking all these point props and stuff. This is the one I like the most of the overs tonight.
Not, I mean, we can get to it right now, actually. Next game up, Winnipeg at Anaheim. Anaheim plus 140, Winnipeg minus 166. I had Winnipeg in regulation last night at minus 135. And I turned the game off after the Sharks went up 3-2 in the third. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? The Jets somehow blow this lead to the Sharks. They come back. They win it in regulation. Why wouldn't I just go back to that tonight? I get is it Comrie in that tonight? Who's starting for? Hellebuck started last night, so it's not going to – I doubt Hellebuck goes again. So Comrie's going to start.
It still says undecided on Daily Faceoff for some reason.
Dostal is going to get the nod for Anaheim. Winnipeg's 9-1 in their last 10 matchups against Anaheim. They don't lose like to bad teams, really. No.
It's not fair.
Anaheim 3-6, 0-1 in their last 10. They've lost 5 of their last 6. Anaheim only being plus 145 seems like a trap on paper again, but you're getting Winnipeg at minus 105 to win in regulation tonight. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, even with Comrie, I feel like Anaheim just hasn't been very good. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
They've been a little worse on the road, though, right? Winnipeg.
I believe so. Let me pull it up. So on the road, they're 12-6 at home. They're 11-3-1. Anaheim at home, 5-9-1. Anaheim on the road, 6-5-3. Love it. Ducks team total under 2.5. The only concern is Comrie. That's my only concern with that one, right?
Yeah, how's Comrie been this year? I feel like I haven't seen him play many games. It feels like Hellebuck plays every game.
Yeah, so Comrie has allowed more than 2.5 goals in each of his last 4 games.
Yeah.
You allowed 3 to Columbus, 4 to Vegas, 3 to Nashville, and then 3 again to Tampa Bay. That's the only concern that I have.
Yeah. If
And
you're giving
Winnipeg
up
playing on a
3 to
back-to-back.
Nashville, I feel like can't score against anybody. Although they've kind of turned a corner a little bit. We're going to talk about them in a little bit, but I don't have much on this game, to be honest with you. I mean, I think Zellweger's a fine piece again. I don't mind that Winnipeg and Reg. We'll see. I don't know. I like these other games a lot more than this one. I think you could grab Connor for a goal. Maybe you do him and Scheifele for a point or something like that. But I don't know. I feel like there's not a ton of value here.
Hang on. Uyghur 2+. So I have a little parlay here. Zellweger 2+ shots on goal. Straight is -165. He said in each of his last 9 games, he did miss against Winnipeg last year. But again, his home and away splits are kind of insane. At home this season, he's at an 86.7% of his games, going 13 for 15. On the road, it drops down to 75%. Not bad. And looking at the shots on goal targets, Winnipeg allows the 7th most shots on goal to defensemen. So that's their weakness this year.
Yep.
Parlay that. I mean, there's several options. There's Morrissey 3+. There's Kyle Connor 4+. Niederreiter at 2+. But the guy that I like the most is Pionk at 2+ as well. His straight's -150. So if you parlay Zellweger and Pionk, both to get 2+ shots on goal, that's +152 on DraftKings. Pionk has been much better on the road this season. He's hit in 3 of his last 4 against Anaheim. I'm pulling up the splits right now. So on the road this season, he's hit at a 66.7% clip. At home, he has hit at a 46.7% clip. Pionk 2, Zellweger 2, +152 on DraftKings. And I'll probably add Winnipeg in regulation as well.
Yeah, that's not bad value there. I don't mind it.
No. Any other plays in this one?
No.
All right. Oh, do you want to do a parlay for tonight?
Yeah, let's.
You want to just do a 2-leg, or do you want to do a 3-leg?
Let's do 3.
All right.
We'll work together on one.
Okay. Zellweger 2+ is.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go Konechny point.
I like that. Zellweger 2+, Konechny point, and then you're looking at other parlay pieces here. We talked about Zuccarello point. Talked about. Well, we already have one in that one. Garland, DeBrusk, Hughes point.
2 shots. Hughes point. Yeah, let's do that. That feels the safest.
All right. So Zellweger 2, Travis Konechny. Where is he? At 1, which is -185 straight, and then Quinn Hughes for 1 +268. Zellweger 2 shots, Konechny point, Quinn Hughes point, +268 on DraftKings. New users can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 using promo code THPN. Also, anyone going to any game soon, check out Game Time. You get $20 off your first purchase using promo code THPN. I know it's the holiday season. Everyone kind of goes home. See your favorite team. If you are going to any games, it's not just the NHL. It's every live sporting event. So check out Game Time. Before we move on, Adam brought up a good point.
Honestly, if you're going to take Jackson Lacombe props, just take his goal, man. +950. 4 goals in his last 6. Right?
Yeah.
I'd rather take a core unit on +950 than throw like a full unit on +190 and back Jackson Lacombe. Although he is getting more ice time. I think he's getting more run, right? With Cam Fowler being traded away. Although I guess Trouba should be eating minutes too. Hey man, yeah. I love the long shot goal props. So +950. Yeah, I'll sprinkle that.
All right, I'm just typing in our parlay for the chat in case anyone missed it. Perfect. All right. Any other thoughts on tonight's game?
No, I like what we got for tonight. I feel like 10 of revenge goal.
What 10 of block shots?
Yeah, I mean you could do his block shots probably, right? That's got to be decent. I feel like block shots market is tough during the season because you don't know, like, night in and night out how much a guy is really gonna put his body on the line. It's my only problem with it. During the playoffs, you know, every game matters.
Yeah, but then they juice the hell out of the market.
Yep.
Like every block shot prop in the postseason is minus 185, minus 205. It's just ridiculous. Okay.
He has hit in 3 of his last 5.
Tanev's hitting 6 of his last 7 away games too for over 2.5 block shots.
Scott Lawton is not a lock tonight. I am going to bet it, guys, but I liked it a lot more the last game because he was only 2 goals away from 100 on top of his history. So tonight we only have one kind of reason to bet him. Let's put it that way.
Makes sense. All right. Tomorrow's games. St. Louis at Tampa Bay. Some few props in this one. Braden Point cashed his had his shots on goal last night. He cashed with an empty netter, so that was a little bit of a sweat, but worked out in the end. Point has 21 points in his last 10 games.
Ridiculous. Tampa's offense has been awesome recently. Gensel's been awesome.
Gensel's got 15 points in his last 10. Kucherov is 18 in his last 10. Hagel's got 15 in his last 10. In terms of shots on goal, St. Louis allows the 9th most to forwards. Kucherov's been great lately. Gensel's been great lately. Hagel's been great lately. Cirelli as well. So those are kind of the props that I was looking at for the Tampa Bay side. And then on the St. Louis side, Rob Thomas has 14 points in his last 10. Buchnevich, Holloway, and Kyrou all have 9 in their last 10. Kyrou's shots has been great lately. Tampa Bay has been pretty stingy against shots on goal this year, but maybe worth a look as well. I don't know his exact history against them. Did you have any looks in St. Louis, Tampa Bay?
You asked about Kyrou's shots, you said, his history against them?
Yeah.
Across his last 5, he averages 4 shots on goal, so that's pretty decent. I like his goal in this game. 4 goals in his last 5 as well against them. Obviously, high shot volume means more chances to score, so I like that. He also has 3 goals in his last 3 games. Yep. So he's been picking it up. Thomas' assist looks great. That should be bettable. Here's a fun one. Matthew Joseph, 4 goals in 6 games against Tampa. I believe that's a former team of his, if I'm not mistaken, right? It wasn't P.O. Joseph that was with them. It was Matthew Joseph, correct?
Let me look this up. Good hockey reference.
I'm pretty sure he used to play for Tampa. Yeah. All right. Knowledge.
Miss Paul
is power. Yeah. So, so 4 goals in 6 games against them. Obviously, that's a weird revenge angle. He's going to be a guy that should be like plus 500 or 600 or even better tomorrow. So, I will certainly be on that, just given that history. And on that Tampa side, I mean, take your pick. It really is who you want tomorrow. I don't mind Gensel for a goal. 5 in his last 3. Point for a goal looks good as well. He has 4 goals in 4 games against them. I might do, again, like I don't really love doing like guys like Point, getting them at like plus 120 or plus 100 maybe in this matchup. So I'll probably do him with Kucherov assist or something like that to get a little bit more value.
Yeah, I like that. All right. Next game up, New Jersey at Columbus. Oh, we have the odds out. Perfect. Columbus plus 180, New Jersey minus 218. Total set at 6.5. Juice the under at minus 115. Marchenko's got 8 points in his last 10. Werenski's got 7 in his last 10. Johnson has 7 in his last 10. On New Jersey side, Timo Meyer's got 8 in his last 10. Jesper Bratt Point looks pretty good as well. And Jack Quinn, excuse me, we were talking about Quinn Hughes earlier. Jack Hughes, shots on goal. I mean, Columbus is always going to be a target, but that's kind of all I had. Werenski shots, maybe.
Yeah, that might not be bad luck.
Oh, Timo Meyer shots too.
The only problem I have with Myers, he's kind of cooled off recently. Averaging 2 shots on goal over his last 3. So that was 5 power play goals. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind looking at those power play point props for the Devils. Jack Hughes 2 points looks really good as well. He has 7 goals, 7 assists his last 8 against them, which is just ridiculous. 5 of those being power play points, so that kind of feeds into Adam's angle there. Hughes has 6 points in his last 3 as well on top of that. So he's really the guy I want to focus on in this game. I don't want to have a ton just given Columbus's up and downs. And I feel like Jersey kind of always has spread out scoring overall, so I don't want to be too heavy in this one.
Los Angeles at Philly. Kings minus 166, Philly plus 140. Philly's obviously playing tonight, so they're going to be on a back-to-back. Kopitar point has been great. Kempe point and even his shots have been good. And then Fiala shots on goal have also been pretty good. The Kings are stingy against shots. So while we're on Michkov shots on goal tonight, I'm not going to take him tomorrow. I don't really have many props for Philly tomorrow, unless you have anything else to add, maybe on the Kings or Flyer side of things.
Well, the other thing with Michkov is that Philly's returning home too. So we're talking about how good he was on the road. So maybe even take his under if he hits tonight. Maybe he gets 4 tonight or something, and they bump his number up or something. We go under here tomorrow. So that might be something to consider. Kempe goal and Kopitar goal both look fantastic given their histories against them. So I'll likely be on one or maybe even both. Kopitar hasn't scored in his last 3, but before that, he was kind of on a little bit of a run of scoring goals out of nowhere, kind of returning back to his old, goal scoring touch a little bit. Not that he was ever like a pure goal scorer or anything. He's always been more of a playmaker, but he has 4 goals in his last 6 against them. So is Kempe. So maybe I'll do the same thing I did yesterday, do a Kempe goal and Kopitar point, and then sprinkle on that Kopitar goal as well. And this isn't quite as good, but Lawton does have 2 goals in his last 5 against them. So
can't get rid of them.
Maybe we'll go back to him again tomorrow. We'll see how he treats me tonight, and that will kind of decide it.
Yeah, the Kings haven't been as great on the road as they have been at home this season, but Philly did just beat them November 11th. Philly won 4-2 in LA. Kings money line at minus 165. I feel like it's only going up from here.
Yeah.
Especially with Philly on a back-to-back.
Yeah, you're going to get Kolosov, who hasn't been as good. Although he's been a little bit better, I would say. His last 3 has been better. He's still not perfect, but he's getting better.
Yeah, the Kings minus 160. It is tempting, but again, it's just that home and away splits are a little bit
on the road.
Not great.
Yeah.
Next game up, Pittsburgh at Nashville. Nashville minus 142. Total set at 6. Juice the under at minus 120. I got Rust point. I got Raquel point. Crosby assist has been great as of late. He's also started to shoot. He goes on these kind of little tears here, and Crosby shots on goal looks good. Same with Rust shots on goal. Letang point, his shots. Forsberg's also been shooting too on the Nashville side of things, but those are kind of the guys that I had highlighted. Do you have any others or wanted to expand on one of them?
Well, don't look now. Nashville's kind of scoring. It took a while, but
why is this total only set at 6 then and juice to the under?
I don't know. I guess they really haven't been scoring that much. I'm looking at. I thought they've been a little bit more productive.
2-2, 4-3.
Yeah, never mind. I lied. No. They're not scoring. Okay. They still stink.
All right, total makes sense.
But so going to that Crosby shots thing, like you said, he's been doing a little bit better recently with them. against Nashville in 6 games, he averages over 5 shots on goal per game against them. So that is something I'm going to circle right now because that looks pretty damn good for tomorrow. Yep. So I'm likely add that given his heater right now. That he is very streaky with the shots. He kind of like you said, he goes through these runs where he only has 2, and then he goes through these runs where he has 3 after the first period, and you're like, who the hell is this guy? So I like to add Bunting point probably as well. I know you had mentioned Rust and Raquel. They both look good. But Bunting, 5 points in his last 6 against them as well. So, yeah,
Nashville also
looks like goals in this game.
The 8th most shots on goal to forwards. So Crosby shots on goal looks pretty good for tomorrow. Roman Josi is also out, which hurts Nashville defensively on that.
Somehow they've not been letting up as many goals, though. It doesn't really. They've still been pretty stingy defensively. It doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense. I mean, Saros was so bad to start the year. So also,
Stamkos has a fantastic history against them. I don't know if we can trust it. He's been kind of a little bit better, 4 points in his last 3. I don't know.
The parlay has also shifted to it was at plus 268, it is now at plus 260.
Oh, damn it. I didn't even bet it. The cost of being live while we drop plays here.
All right. Yeah, we'll speed through these next ones so we can tweet out our plays. Try to probably wrap up around 6:35, 6:40. Seattle at Chicago. Seattle minus 142. Chicago plus 120. I'll let you start with these. Did you have any that jumped out for you?
Seattle's kind of frustrating. It seemed like they were kind of turning a little bit when Dunn came back. They were being a little bit more productive offensively, and you felt like you could kind of trust them, and then they go and get shut out last game. I know Allmark's been better, so maybe we should start really accounting for his improved play, but I don't know if we're going to even get value given that it's against Chicago. Are we going to get value on guys like Bjorkstrand and McCann and Stevenson who have, they all have good histories against Chicago, but I don't know if I really feel good about laying like a minus 130 on a guy like Bjorkstrand. if they're around like even money, I'll be interested in it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't really feel confident in anything Seattle or Chicago related, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be involved with Chicago props at all.
Vlasic point has obviously popped as of late. Teravainen point has been good as well. But these teams did just match up on November 14th. Seattle won 3-1. Again, we have a 9-game slate tonight. This is one that I just don't need to look at in terms of props.
I'm good on it.
Would you trust Seattle money line minus 140?
That seems like decent like price, to be honest with you, because I don't. Like I think Chicago is just really bad, to be honest with you.
They've won their last 2. They beat Washington last night 3-2, and
they came back.
Islanders before, 5-3.
They came back in that Washington game because they were down 2-1 in the late in the second, I think. But I don't know.
Seattle's magic last year when they were fantastic on the road after being a disappointment on the road the first season. They've now kind of gone back to their ways. They're 7-8 on the road this year, so. I don't know. There's just no reason to force plays in this one.
Nope.
If this was like a 3-game slate or 2-game slate, I might just take the night off at this rate. All right, Boston at Edmonton. This is a good one. Boston plus 145, Edmonton minus 175. Total set at 6. The Bruins just beat the Flames in overtime last night. Any thoughts on this one for props, side, or total?
Man, Edmonton, I had them the other day against Florida, and they were up 4-2. I went to sleep. I was like, oh, yeah, that was – at least I won that bet. They blew that lead, obviously. So, yeah, I don't know. Boston's been kind of a little bit better, winning 3 of their last 5. I still don't love that team. I still don't know if I trust them.
This is a hammer spot for the Oilers.
You think they're going to crush them?
I think Edmonton
after that
kills Boston. Minus 120 in regulation. It's a full unit play for me. I think Edmonton comes out pissed off after that loss, especially blowing that lead like they did. Yeah.
End of a road trip for Boston too.
Yeah.
That's the last game, and they're going to be traveling back home. They play the Sabres on Saturday, so they might be feeling good.
It's not a look ahead spot, I'll tell you that much.
Prop wise, I don't know. I mean, Lindholm has a ton of history against them, but he's been up and down. I feel like you can only trust him in revenge spots, and that's it. Pasta's been a little bit better. He has 5 points and 4 against them, so maybe you look there. I don't know. McDavid 2 points.
McDavid 2 points. Draisaitl 2 points.
Yeah.
Marchand point. He's been pretty good as of late. Bouchard assist, maybe. Hyman's also come out of the woodwork. His shots have been great in the last few games, so maybe take a look at that. Boston allows the 15th most shots on goal. 2 forwards this season.
4 goals in his last 3 too. He's finally coming to life a little bit. We're joking about his start to the season. He's up to 10 goals on the season now, so not too bad for a guy that couldn't score to start the year.
Yeah, just got to sit in front, and eventually you'll find one.
Yep.
All right. Ottawa at Calgary is the next one. Ottawa minus 135, Calgary plus 114, total set at 5.5. I don't have much in this. Huberdeau's kind of come alive. His point looks pretty good. Kadri point and his shots look decent as well. Stützle, Batherson, and then Tkachuk shots on goal. Those are kind of the initial targets that I had pointed out in this one. Did you have any others?
So my only worry, if I'm going to back any Calgary props, is kind of like what I said about Ullmark. He's been awesome. I think he's back-to-back shutouts, right? Yeah, 2 straight shutouts for him. His last 3 games, 6.81 goals saved above expected.
Wow.
just in his last 3. So he started the season off rough, I would say, overall. And he's kind of turning around. We'll see how long that lasts. Like I think there'll be kind of like a comeback down to earth. But at this point, I don't want to be backing anything Calgary related, really, as far as their offensive props. He has a shutout on 2 of his last 3. So maybe there's a game in between. He didn't have a shutout, but still, I don't want to be backing Calgary props given that scenario. Obviously, like you said, Huberdeau has been better recently. Kadri's been good, but yeah, I would only really look on the Ottawa side. Pinto has 3 goals in his last 3. He's been shooting a lot more, so maybe he's a guy to look at that kind of starting to get it going a little bit. You can always look at Stützle and Tkachuk as a point parlay for them too as well. So
Tkachuk shots I think is a great target. Calgary allows the 12th most to forwards this season, so I would probably look at him if anything.
Yeah. Ottawa's money line isn't bettable, right? I forget what
minus 135.
Yeah, I might take that as well.
All right, 2 games to go. Vancouver at Vegas. Vancouver plus 136, Vegas minus 162. Barbashev is out. We talked about Vancouver earlier. So on the Vegas side of things, Stone, Theodore point, Theodore assists, Eichel assist. Any others?
Yeah. Do we trust Olofsson, who's been red hot? 4 goals in his last 3, averaging 4 shots on goal over that stretch. He's finally back healthy. 2 goals and 4 against them historically, so not the best, but might be kind of time to just start blindly betting him to score goals because he's just in a great situation there on the top power play. I mean, come on. You just
the
need
only thing to be a little cautious of is Vegas's lines. Barbashev still is on that first line with Eichel and Stone. So it's going to be interesting to see how they shuffle those if Barbashev is out tomorrow.
So in the last game, it looks like Howden played with that line a little bit and Olsen played with that line a little bit. So they were kind of rotating around, it looks like, but we'll see what they do. But still, I mean, the power play numbers alone, maybe you go his power play point or something like that, even if you want to. We did talk about the Vancouver away stuff being effective as well. So I don't mind looking at their props. JT Miller has 16 points in 10 games against them. and Quinn Hughes has 13 points and 9 against them. So, again, I don't think there's any reason not to go back to any of the guys we kind of mentioned earlier. We didn't really talk about JT Miller because he's kind of been not great yet since he's been back. But, I mean, if you're looking at Hughes, Pettersson, Garland, all look great against them, historically at least.
Like it. All right, last game, Colorado at San Jose. San Jose plus 210, Colorado minus 285 or 258, excuse me. Total set at 6.5. Vanacek's going to miss several weeks due to that unfortunate incident that happened against Winnipeg. He got hit in the head with the puck that was deflected out of play, so he's out. There's tons of props, though, in this one. McKinnon, 2 points. His shots on goal. Rantanen, Lehkonen, Nichushkin points, all pop. Makar shots on goal should be another target in this one, as San Jose allows the most shots on goal to defensemen. Celebrini's been fantastic on the San Jose side of things. His points been great. His shots been great. Wallman point, Granlund point. I mean, it's a great game for a Thursday night in terms of props.
Yeah, I mean, you could take your pick on those Colorado players. They all kill San Jose historically, so you're likely going to get Georgiev in that. So this should be fun. If they just like go out and absolutely kill him because So on the other side though, we do it. So here's the big thing. I am hoping that we get Kovalenko point. I wanted it last game. It did not pop. I wanted his power play point. They're not offering it. He's playing on the top line with Macklin. He's playing on the top power play with them as well. Give me those props, damn it. I'm going to be posting something tomorrow, tagging all the books if I don't see it tomorrow. Give me Kovalenko point, 5 assists in his 3 games on the Sharks. He's just been dishing. I do think he will get a goal eventually. I sprinkled his goal last game because they wouldn't give me his point prop, and he did not get one. Unfortunately, he did get 2 assists, I believe, last game. So, yeah, I'm interested in that because it's a revenge narrative as well. But you top that with how good Celebrini has been performing right now, and he's closing that gap on Michkov a little bit. My Michkov caller futures are looking a little bit worrisome right now, so I need Matvey to wake up a little bit. So hopefully that changes. But yeah, Celebrini looks good, man. So I don't mind taking any of his props. I think there should be plenty of goals in that game. Colorado might score 5 or 6 on Georgiev though, just for fun.
Colorado team total. I mean, it's also only set at 6.5. So
yeah, I like the over.
Yep. All right. Any other thoughts before we wrap up tonight?
No.
Be sure to check out the parlay for tonight. Yeah. Zellweger 2+ shots on goal. Konechny point. Quinn Hughes point. That's plus 260 now on DraftKings. Be sure to use promo code THPN for $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Also, if you're going to any game soon, live sports, concerts, check out Game Time. Use promo code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. We will be back Friday for our happy hour live stream. Betsky should be there for that one. We appreciate everyone for listening, and we will talk to you guys on Friday.